Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, that is our greeting, wishing you a peaceful, joyous, and invigorating Sabbath, and certainly on a day like today that is truly meant for a queen. We are so honored by your presence and so look forward to your full participation as Avery is called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. Avery will be leading us in worship. She'll be helping us understand the Hebrew. She'll be chanting, she'll be singing, she'll even be reading along in the English. And we would love your participation as well. So please make sure you have a prayer book. Everyone can follow it as the gold flame on the front. And even for those of you who may not be familiar with our liturgy, you can always follow along because there's even transliteration when we are chanting the Hebrew. So the first thing we must do is warm up our voices and our spirits, and we will do that with an opening song.
Please join me for Ma Tovu, which can be found on page 290. Ma Tovu, Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Ma Tovu, Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Ani merov chasecha, avo veitecha, eshtachavecha chodshecha, beiratecha, Ma Tovu, Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Adonai ahavti, me'on beitecha, u'mekol mishkan kevodecha, mishkan kevodecha, v'ani eshtachaveh, Evrecha lifnei Adonai, osi. Ma Tovu, Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, v'ani tefilati lecha, Adonai et atzon, Elohim berov chasecha, Elohim berov chasecha, Haneni be'emet yishecha, Ma Tovu, Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Ma Tovu, Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Mishkenotecha
Ma Tovu, how glorious is this day, and indeed it is for all of us. Now, the first thing we must do before Avery takes her place here at the podium, the bima, is that we will enwrap her in a prayer shawl known as a talit. What makes the talit special and religious is not its beautiful cloth, but rather the four corners, which represent the four corners of the Jewish world, which will enwrap Avery from this moment forward. Now, the talit that she is about to be presented by her parents has tremendous significance, as it was the talit that they stood under at their wedding. It made their chuppah. So Avery, come step forward. I'm going to invite your parents up to bring this beautiful talit. That their blessings and good luck will continue through to you. Oh, we'll get it ready. And Avery, once it's put on, right, we're going to flip it up. Beautiful. We're going to ask you to recite the blessing. Amen. And we thank God for the privilege of allowing ourselves to enwrap ourselves in the talit. Amen. All right, give them a hug. You'll see them soon. And I'm going to invite everyone to open up, please, to page 293 for the morning blessings. Avery, it's time for you to start. Let me get you all ordered here. It is traditional after each blessing that we answer Avery with an amen. Page 293.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who opens the eyes of the blind. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who lifts up the fallen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our steps. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me in the image of God. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me free. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me a Jew. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who girds Israel with strength. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who crowns Israel with splendor. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah. Amen. Adonai, our God, make the words of your Torah sweet to us, and the house of Israel, your people, that we and our children may be lovers of your name and students of your Torah. We praise you, O God, teacher of Torah, to our people of Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, hamelech Torah le'amo Yisrael.
And we now turn to page 306 for a most appropriate song of Hallelujah. turn to page 313 as we are officially called to worship, and so we rise together, please. Remain standing. Please turn to page 317, and we will read the paragraphs responsively.
O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age, your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways, and yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity.
We give
Thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel, and joyfully we remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose.
May the teachings of our ancestors live on in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir in our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, habocher b'amo Yisrael, be'ahava.
Page 318. Seated, and feel free to join Avery if you would like.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha uvechol lebavcha uvkol nafshecha uvekol meodecha v'hayu hadbarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzaveha hayom al levaveha Vishinantam livaneha lidibarta bam beshivtecha bebetecha uvlechtecha baderech ushokbecha uvkumeha ushartam leot ayadeha v'hayulatotafot beineha uvtavtam Amezuzot beitecha uvisharecha liman tiskeru v'hasiten et kol mitzvotai v'item kiddushim le'Elohehem ani Adonai Elohechem asher chotzeit yedchem meretz Mitzrayim leot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem emet.
Page 321.
Was this me? Oh. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content. For soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, a song of peace.
Adonai tzvaot shemo kedosh Yisrael Baruch atah Adonai Ga Yisrael.
On page 323 begins a prayer known as the prayer. So important is that we stand through its entirety. So please rise.
Adonai sifatei tiftach ufi tehillatcha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei HaKol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevii Geula livnei bneihem, Le'ma'an shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham be'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah ve'hoshia, Morei
And you may all be seated. We continue on page 329, and to lead us in our next reading, it's a pleasure to welcome the one that will soon take her place after Avery. Finley?
Those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The people that house Shabbat will delight in your goodness. For being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation.
Going to join now with the words of Yismechu, page 329.
330, we read the paragraphs responsively.
On this Shabbat day, as you graciously receive our prayers, help us to hear your call. Grant us enough health to fulfill our duties and the compassion we need to attend to others.
Teach us
Humility that we may perceive our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves, and the charity to see the best in those around us.
Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your presence. O source of blessing, look with your favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you. We praise you, Adonai, whom alone we serve in reverence.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha be'yira na'avod.
And on page 332 is our prayer of thanksgiving. It's traditional to answer, Avery, with the Hebrew of Modim, Anachnu Lach. We thank you.
For expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations.
Modim anachnu lach.
For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons.
Modim anachnu lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim anachnu lach.
For our hopes and a noble cause, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared.
Modim anachnu lach.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow and affirm and choose.
Modim anachnu lach.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot.
Guess what? We have done.
Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, barchenu yotzreinu kulanu kechad, ve'or panecha, ki ve'or panecha natata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, Torat chaim ve'avat chesed, ve'avat chesed, u'tzlacha uvracha ve'rachamim ve'chaim ve'shalom, sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed ve'rachamim ve'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, ve'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, bechol beit ubechol shah, bishomecha, sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim ve'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, havarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
And we've come to that time in our service where we leave the written prayer book and instead turn to the thoughts of our hearts and our minds. If you've been following along with the theme of today's service, you would notice that it has remained the same for thousands of years, because Shabbat is known as a day of gratitude, because we're told that 6 days one works and on the seventh day you rest. And that means that even God has the day off. And so it is not a day to petition, to bargain, or to ask. Rather, it's a day to say thank you. I'm sure that each of us in our own lives, despite the challenges, can find reason to say thank you and to appreciate the many, many gifts that life has given us. I know certainly for Avery and her family today, the ability of all of you to come together with your energy and your love, well, that is reason enough to give gratitude. And so we pause for a few moments as we have our private conversation with God. Well, I think most of us know that much of the world's attention today was focused literally across the oceans as a new king was crowned in England. And yet, for we as a Jewish people, royalty is not something that is foreign to us, because each and every Shabbat we welcome the ultimate royalty, and that, of course, is God. And God's partner, the reading of Torah. I was really struck when Avery shared with me the beautiful kippot that she had made, because tucked inside is a beautiful crown. And then on her program is a beautiful crown. And I realized that she probably doesn't know that she didn't even have to borrow from across the ocean today, Avery, because you may not know that your Hebrew name, Avital, is the name of King David's wife. She was a queen before there ever was a King Charles. So that means that this is most appropriate. And a crown for we, the Jewish people, represents our crowning achievement. And that is what we are celebrating today. You may notice that our Torahs, which we treat like royalty, are dressed in majestic robes. They wear silver crowns on their, what we call their rollers. They wear breastplates, and they are decorated fully, because our royal word that we follow comes from the Torah. So important is it that just a reminder to Avery's friends It is not really appropriate to enter or exit the sanctuary while the Torah is in our midst. It's seen as being disrespectful. However, for so many of our young kids that have been exceptional today, we certainly understand the need sometimes to get up and move around, so please feel free to do that. It doesn't bother us at all. So we are going to prepare to take the Torah from the ark. We are going to pass it generation to generation. And then Avery is going to carry the Torah through the congregation, showing all of you that she not only accepts the written word, but the heftiness, the weight of responsibility of being a part of the Jewish people, because it is not an easy thing to do. And so it is a pleasure. Avery, come take your place. I'm going to invite your parents forward, together with your grandfather, Mel. And I am going to invite your grandparents, Bob and Jean, to come forward as they are going to open the ark. And I'm going to ask everyone to rise, please.
Torah
be seated. Well, I think we all understand how anxious Avery is to chant from the Torah, to share her words and lessons, and to really appreciate all that she has done to prepare for this day. If we could do anything, Avery, we'd just ask you to please slow down and enjoy the moment. She is so anxious to celebrate with all of you that it is very natural that one, especially when one knows things so well and is so confident, that they take it on with such energy. But Avery, we're going to stop you for just a moment now, okay? So take a deep breath, sit back and relax, because it's our time to talk to you for a few moments about your Torah portion and the meaning of having you here on the Bima. So allow me just to give you a little background. You may have noticed that we are fortunate in our congregation to have many Torahs. They are all different sizes and shapes and weights, but they all contain the exact same information. It is the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. It takes us 1 full year to make our way from the beginning of Genesis all the way to the end of Deuteronomy, and then we do it all over again. We've been doing this for more than 2,000 years, calling up young people at the age of 13 in order to tell the story and keep the tale alive. People ask often, "Don't you know it already?" And in many ways we do. But yet every generation and every person who comes up to Torah needs to relearn it, because in truth, we haven't gotten it right yet. Because we are told that within this Torah is truly the law of life. To follow it would give us the blessings that we so desire and a world that would be nearly perfect. And yet we human beings have a tough time accepting instruction. Now, Avery understands this. She comes from a family that truly uses their time professionally and personally to interpret and follow the law. And we are very grateful for that. And they have passed that thoughtfulness on to Avery. And isn't it more than coincidental, Avery, that you happen to be in the middle of the Torah in the #1 law book of our Bible, the book of Leviticus? You're going to hear all about that. Her portion is known as amor, a Hebrew word which means to speak. And indeed, we speak in many ways, but most importantly, we speak through our actions. Words mean very little if we don't put action behind it. And that is what is so special about Avery and her family. For her parents that have very busy professional lives, taking care and literally running after 3 incredible girls, they still find time to give so much back to community and to help all of us in so many ways. That's actions. Avery is going to share with you how she is helping to better the world through her actions and the seriousness with which she has taken her preparation for this incredible day. And actions. I think you've noticed that throughout our service there has been an empty chair draped in a talit with a beautiful picture of a young girl. Again, the action to remember our history, where we come from, and to acknowledge how lucky we are because this beautiful little girl, Evie, never lived to have her own bat mitzvah. And you will hear about that from Avery herself. But now it is time to chant from these incredible words, to remember that Avery not only chants them so beautifully and tells a story, But more importantly for her and her family, she embodies the words in her actions. And for this, we are exceedingly grateful. Avery, just to cheer you on as you come forward, I know that you spend much of your time on the softball field. You catch for everyone else, right? Those errant balls, those strikes. But when you come up to bat, as you are doing right now, I want everybody to pay attention that she's about to hit a grand slam. Come on up. And as Avery prepares to chant, there are those who will be called forward to the Torah. It is known as an aliyah, the coming up, because you're raising yourself to education. And that is why we actually are a few steps off the regular floor level. A pulpit or a bima is always above because you raise yourself up when you come here. There are those who will raise themselves up by blessing the Torah. And our first aliyah is for your grandfather, Mel Sandler.
For those of you who'd like to follow along with us and Avery as she chants from the Torah, you can follow along in the blue Torah commentary, this Chumash. It's called The Torah, a Modern Commentary. And she'll be beginning on page 929, beginning in the left column on the third line at Leviticus 23, verse 23.
And as her grandfather joins us, I know that we are all very cognizant, Avery, that there is a person physically missing next to him, but is spiritually here with us now, and that is your grandmother as we remember Lenny.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaMvorach.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bacha Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai El Moshe Lemor. Daber El Bnei Yisrael Lemor. B'chodesh Hashevi B'echad LaChodesh Yihyeh Lachem Shabbaton Zichron Teruah Mikra Kodesh Kol Melechet Avodah Lo Ta'asu Vehikravtem Isher L'Adonai.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Thank you. Please come join us on the other side. Come join us on the other side and wait with us. Thank you. For our second aliyot, it's a pleasure to welcome forward Aunt Jamie and Aunt Randy.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMvorach.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai El Moshe Lemor. asor lachodesh hashavi'i hazeh yom hakipurim hu mikra kodesh yihyeh lachem ve'initem et nafshotehem v'hikrabtem ishe l'Adonai v'chol melacha lo ta'asu be'etzem hayom hazeh ki yom kippurim hu lichaper aleichem lifnei Adonai Elohechem.
Hugging's much more important.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nota b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Okay, just another hug. And for our third Aliyah, what a joy it is to welcome forward Avery, your parents, John and Kelly.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamporach.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamporach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'tanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ki chol hanefesh asher lo te'uneh be'etzem hayom hazeh v'nichrata me'ameha v'chol hanefesh asher ta'aseh kol melacha be'etzem hayom hazeh ve'ahavati et hanefesh hahi mikerev ama kol melacha lo ta'asu chukat olam lidorotechem bechol moshevotechem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'tachenu olam notan b'tachenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And for the fourth Aliyah, Avital is called to the Torah officially as a bat mitzvah.
Ta'amod, 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 Avital bat Yitzchak, la bat mitzvah, le'aliyah le'torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai habarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Shabbat, Shabbaton hu lachem ve'initem et nafshotehem b'tisha lachodesh ba'erev me'erev ad erev tishbetu Shabbatechem vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael lemor b'chamisha asar yom lachodesh hashavi'i hazeh Chag HaSukkot.
Shivat Yamim Ladonai.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
And Avery will now start to breathe again. As you may. We're just going to roll the Torah, and then her parents are going to offer some words of thoughts and blessings.
Good morning. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. This is a difficult thing to come up here and talk about our favorite oldest daughter. And at the outset, I would note that that is a phrase I have taken from my father, as I am the favorite oldest daughter of his. It's an interesting statement because at first you think it's a compliment, and then you realize it's just a way of making sure that you know that all of your children are loved the same, except the oldest, who's the best. Except when we do this in a year and a half and Finley's up here, and then we'll find a new way to tell her she's the best. But this is difficult, not because there's a lack of content for Avery for us to talk about. John and I have made our careers as attorneys and using language to get what we need, but that's never personal. That's our job. So it's very hard because it's impossible to be precise, persuasive, and practical like we are in the law when we're talking about Avery. But we'll try. Avery stands before you and all of us as one of the most impressive newly minted teens that I think we all have the benefit of knowing. She has blessed us with her kindness, her thoughtfulness, and her intelligence, and her very, very old soul. She's a wonderful daughter and a generous sister most of the time. Finley's making quite the face at me. She's one of the most ambitious and well-rounded children that I know. I'm sorry that I called you a child. You're still my child. She has incredible passion for softball and has worked so hard over the last few years to consistently perform in that job. More than being a strong player, though, she is a solid teammate. She supports her team in every way she can. She participates in more activities than all of us can count. My dad can tell you all about his carpooling and where he has to drive every day. But Dance Collective, she's a peer leader. She's in the band. She's on the student council. She's in the theater. She is a police explorer in Morris County. You forgot chorus. And the chorus. I forgot the chorus. She can read ahead. And of course, all of her devotion and practice and preparation to be here to become a Jewish adult. So Daddy and I would like to offer you this blessing before our family and friends and the entire present THS congregation here and over the webcast. So Avery, with tremendous joy and pride in the presence of God, family, clergy, friends, and congregation, we offer you this blessing on this day of your bat mitzvah. May your sensitivity to others less fortunate compel you to act on their behalf in the spirit of tikkun olam. May your love of learning inspire you to seek knowledge and engage in the exploration of Torah. May your passion and enthusiasm propel you to spread joy and hope and possibility to those whose lives you touch. May your spirit of adventure lead you not to accident, as you are prone, but to fully experience all that life has to offer you. May your self-confidence and determination fortify you in times of uncertainty. May you be blessed with patience, mostly with your sisters, and your mother, and understanding, wisdom, and compassion. May you have the strength to seek justice when it is due, and may your kindness serve as an example to those around you. May the memory of your childhood be a source of encouragement and laughter. May you keep traditions of Judaism alive and come to know Israel in an era of peace. May you know that there is a rich heritage to which you belong, and may your Judaism not be something that you inherited, but something that you are constantly discovering. May you always, watch the door, may you always remember this special day and cherish your Jewish ancestors who came before you and made it possible for you to stand here with pride in becoming a bat mitzvah. Gratefully, we give blessing for the joyous privilege of seeing our eldest daughter attain this milestone as she steps forth to affirm her commitment and to the ideals and mitzvot of Judaism. We love you.
It is now time for us to lift and dress the Torah. It's a pleasure to welcome forward Cousin Parker to come assist us. I would ask that you rise, please.
Today, Avery is going to be chanting Haftarah from the book of Ezekiel, beginning at chapter 44, beginning at verse 23.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nevi'im tovim v'ratzah v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah uv-Moshe avdo uv-Yisrael amo uv'nbieh ha'emet v'tzedek ve'et ami yoru bein kodesh l'chol uvein tamei l'tahor yodi'u ve'al riv ema ya'amdu lemishpat b'mishpatai yishpatuhu ve'et torotai ve'et chukotai b'chol moadai yishmoru ve'et shavutotai yikadeshu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol haolamim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'el hane'eman ha'omer ve'oseh hamidaber u'mekayem shekol divarav emet v'tzedek al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanbi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
Amen.
Avery, you make it look and sound so easy. How beautiful, mazel tov. We are now going to return the Torah to the ark. I'd ask you all to rise, please, and to open the ark doors. It's a pleasure to welcome back your grandparents, Bob and Jean. You may all be seated. It is now time for Avery to share with you what is known as her Devar Torah, her words of Torah, as she becomes our teacher.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Before I start, Shabbat Shalom, sorry. Before I start, I'd like to thank everyone who came out to celebrate with me. I know you all traveled from near, far, and really far to come out and celebrate with me today. But anyways, first I'd like to talk to you about my portion, Emor. To put a very long story short, Emor makes up chapters 21 through 24 of the third book of the Torah, Leviticus, and it basically acts as a law book for the Jewish people. Did you know that Israel doesn't have a constitution? Nope. They may not have a constitution, but they do have the Torah, but more specifically, the book of Leviticus. Like I said, Emor and the book of Leviticus act as a law book for the Jewish people and the Israelites. There are some very valuable lessons, like during the Festival of Huts, or better known as Sukkot, we take a whole week fully to celebrate the beauty and purity of nature. Another part discussed in my portion is when using a newborn calf or kid as an offering, it must stay with its mother for at least a week before it's killed. This is done for a couple of reasons. First, this is kind of where the idea of keeping kosher comes from. Some of you know that part of keeping kosher is not to eat meat and dairy in the same serving. This is done mostly for ethical reasons, because the line in the Torah that states this is usually translated as, "Do not boil a kid in his mother's milk." Think about it. If you're going to kill an animal just to eat it or make it as an offering, would it really be ethical to eat it alongside what was supposed to be its meal? One last thing discussed in my portion is that when a farmer harvests his crops, he must leave one corner as it is, so the poor can take from it, so they have food for themselves and their families. Because Emor teaches us that it is wrong to kill a baby animal before it is at least a week old, it shows us that if we are going to kill an animal only to eat it or offer it to God, it is imperative that we must be humane about it. It's so important that it's even one of the commandments, sorry about that, 188 to be exact. So if you thought there were only 10 commandments, you've only got 603 left to learn. This commandment makes it well known that to inhumanely slaughter an animal, then eat that animal in which you have inhumanly slaughtered, or even make it as an offering, is a terrible thing to do to an animal. The biggest lesson this commandment is trying to teach us is to be kind and respectful to all creatures, living and deceased. Another thing Emor teaches us is how important giving to the poor is. It shows that many of us sitting in this room today are much more fortunate than others. My family and I are very fortunate because we have enough money to put food on the table and have such a great day to celebrate this life cycle event. But other families aren't so fortunate, which leads me to my bat mitzvah project. I kind of did 2 bat mitzvah projects, but my main project symbolized the meaning of Emor. My project didn't have a name, but basically I collected, or am still collecting till August 10th, hint hint, school supplies for my Aunt Katie's school in New York City, PS 187. I showed this flyer to all my friends, teachers, and family. Let me put some numbers in your head. 852 pens, 600 pencils, 464 crayons, 360 magnets, 54 notebooks, 50 pairs of scissors, 1,227 markers. Yeah, you heard me. 192 highlighters, 36 folders, 2,500 sheets of paper, and finally, 72 boxes of tissues. As you can tell, we've collected so much, and I'm so happy that all of these kids and teachers will benefit from these things. The second branch of my bat mitzvah project was organizing and cleaning out the lending library in the youth lounge downstairs. It is still a work in progress, and it is taking a while, but I can't tell you how incredibly satisfying it was to see that first shelving unit all organized and pretty. This project was especially close to my heart because anyone who really knows me knows how much I enjoy reading. Some people call me crazy for reading as much as I do, but it is one of my biggest passions and something I try very hard to make time for. Now, one of the most important reasons I'm here today. I kind of think of it as the why of my bat mitzvah. When Rabbi first asked me why I was becoming a bat mitzvah, I knew the first answer that would have popped into my head 3 or 4 years ago was, well, my parents are making me, so there's nothing I can do to stop that. But now, I feel like I'm becoming a bat mitzvah not only for myself, but for my grandmother as well. Helene, or better known by her family and friends, Lenny Sandler. She grew up in the 40s and 50s when a woman having a bat mitzvah was completely unfathomable. A woman chanting from the Torah on the bima? Impossible. Well, some things have changed since then. Women everywhere fought for their rights because they knew that a woman could do anything a man can do. Billie Jean King proved that by calling Bobby Riggs' bluff and then beating him in one of the most famous tennis matches in history. Susan B. Anthony proved that by fighting as a suffragette until the day she died. Even my own rabbi proved this by being one of the first 40 officially ordained female rabbis. I'm also being bat mitzvahed for another. I never knew her personally, but after reading her story, I felt like I did. I was fortunate enough for my parents to register me for a Yad Vashem Holocaust twinning project. By taking part in this project, you basically twin with another young man or woman who died during the Holocaust and never got to have his or her b'nai mitzvah. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my twin. Evie Hart was 11 years old when she was tragically murdered in the Auschwitz-Birkenau extermination camp in Poland. She was one of 5 children, and she was the second youngest. The only member of her immediate family to survive was her sister, Ilona Hart, or now, Ilona Unger. Sorry about that. Unfortunately, I was unable to find much information on Ilona, but because of her, Evie's story lives on. As Rabbi pointed out before, there's an empty chair on the bima today with a tali and a picture. This is a picture of Evie, because although Evie couldn't be here physically, I have no doubt in my mind that Evie's here with us in spirit. Today is not just my bat mitzvah, it's Evie's, it's Lenny's. And I'm standing on the shoulders of all the young women who came before me and fought for my right to be here today. Guys, we did it. Before I wrap this up, I have a few thank yous. First, I'd like to thank Cantor Benray, Rabbi Mutstinsky, Linan, Ian, and all my Hebrew school teachers for teaching me everything I need to know about my bat mitzvah, and always pushing me to be better and working around my busy schedule to make everything work. Next, I'd like to thank all of my sports coaches for not only shaping me into the best athlete I can be, but the best person I can be. Next, I'd like to thank all of my friends who have supported me through thick and thin, and are always there when I need to be. When I need to vent, or a hug, or just someone to talk to when I need it, but also there to let me be alone when I need to. Finally, I'd like to thank my family. They've always stood by me and always given me love, even at the occasional times when I go all teenagery on them. and they've always been there for late night bonfires with s'mores and then running back inside when it got too cold. I love you so much, and I can't wait for all the memories we'll get to make together. Now, before I exceed my 6-page personal limit, I would like to give my personal blessing to all of you. Every single person in this room has such a beautiful soul, and you all deserve all the good things coming your way. I hope you will find happiness in your endeavors, but learn from your mistakes. I hope you will stay happy and healthy, but get up when you fall down. I hope you all remember that no matter how hard it gets, life is worth living, but give yourself enough time to be upset about the things that are worthy of being upset over. I hope you all learn your own version of the meaning of life, which is 42, by the way, but keep wondering about the world around you. I hope you all have the courage to try new things and branch out, but never, ever lose yourself or become someone you aren't. But most of all, I hope you never forget me, because I know I'll never forget you and the impact you have made on my life. Amen, and Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
And now you can relax. Yes. Avery, I am so, so proud of you. You have, not only did you chant beautifully today, but you shared with us your spirit and truly who you are, which is an incredible young woman. You are kind, you are strong, a natural-born leader. I think it's fitting that Ellis calls me Cantor Bell, because I think that that kind of reflects on you. You, indeed, are like a Cantor Bell. You are well-read, well-spoken like Belle was, and you shared with us today your beautiful voice and your beautiful spirit and led this congregation with confidence and with humility. Truly, I am so, so, so blessed to know you, as is everyone who's here. Continue to be a shining light in this world, and continue to know that the moral compass that you have inside is truly what matters. Mazal tov.
Thank you so much, Cantor.
Avery, you made note of how many people you were thanking that brought you to this moment. Ultimately, you needed to do the work, but you had a lot of wonderful coaches. And another wonderful coach that would like to present you with your certificate and say a few words is our Director of Congregational Learning, Lynn Ann Cutler.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right. So, as mentioned, I'm the Director of Congregational Education here. I also was the 7th grade Hebrew teacher for Avery, and got to work with you in preparing for today. So I could spend my time up here telling you all how hard Avery worked and how incredible the job was she did, but it's really obvious to everybody here already, and everybody watching on Zoom who's not even here. So instead, I get to present you with 3 certificates. They're all very significant. 2 of them for what they represent, and the last for what it can do for you. The first one is your certificate of Bat Mitzvah. It says that you were here today, and it says that all of these folks were here today with you. And I hope that you display it so that you can look on it. And I hope that every time you look on it, all of your favorite memories for today come flooding back, all your memories of all of these fantastic people who came to support you, and a reminder that your hard work can pay off in really spectacular ways. This is the first one. The second certificate represents a tree that has been planted in your name in Israel, halfway across the world. Well, I haven't measured. I'll say halfway across the world. All right. You are done with the childhood part of your Jewish education, but you are now growing as a Jewish adult. As you do that, this tree is going to be in Israel growing right alongside you, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The third certificate, your childhood education is done. You're about almost 2/3 of the way through the education that we have for you here, because we educate young adults too, not just the little kids. But there is a whole world of growing and connecting as a Jewish adult now. And some of that is literally going out into the literal world. The last certificate in here for you is going to help take you to a place in the world that is very, very rich with Jewish culture and history, and there's a lot of Hebrew there too, and that's Israel. So as you go out into the world, I have no doubt that there are incredible things ahead for you, and I am so proud of you for today, and I can't wait to see where you go from here. Mazel tov.
Avery, the Bima has been shared this morning not only by the spirit of your twin, but by a very special woman that has been with us as well. And she is from the executive board of our congregation, Caroline Dix, and a friend of the family, and one who shares an awful lot of responsibility together with your dad. So she is here to present you with some gifts from your congregational family.
My turn?
Yes.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It is my honor as a member of the Temple Har Shalom Board of Trustees to share in Avery's Bat Mitzvah service and present her with some very special gifts. It brings me great joy to be here with all of you today, and I offer my heartfelt congratulations to Kelly, John, Finley, and Ellis on this momentous occasion. It is truly a special moment to watch Avery called to the Torah as a Bat Mitzvah. I first met the Sandlers a few years ago when John and I were both serving on the temple board. And I feel fortunate because my husband and I have gotten to know Kelly and John and have been able to spend a number of fun times together. I'm just so happy to be here today celebrating Avery's accomplishments. So now I'd like to take a moment to recognize the poised, thoughtful, confident young woman who stands before us today as a bat mitzvah. Avery, your accomplishments are impressive. You're dedicated to all your pursuits. You're extremely diligent with your schoolwork and set high standards for yourself. You're quite the softball player who plays not for one, but 3 teams. Moving from athletics to the arts, you have a beautiful singing voice, as we all got to witness today, and love being involved in theater. In fact, the breadth of your talent extends even further, as this year you were the stage manager for your school production of The Addams Family, and were responsible for all aspects of the production, including the actors, stage direction, sets, and lighting. I'm going to keep going. You're also a dedicated member of the Police Explorers of Morris County and dedicate time to learning all aspects of law enforcement. And here at the Temple, you're always willing to offer a helping hand and are currently working on the project to clean up and reorganize the library. This young lady truly does it all. And with regard to your family, you're a kind and caring big sister. You're a wonderful role model for Finley and Ellis. Now, to further highlight your character, I happen to have a personal anecdote. So Avery, you probably don't even remember this moment, but it stands out in my mind, and it's an example of how your character impacts and affects other people and people around you. It was last November at my son Ryan's bar mitzvah. You came up to me casually at the party and just told me how much fun it was and thanked me for including you. And it just speaks volumes that you took the time to do that with such sincerity. Not one other, I hate to use the word kid, non-adult, shared words like that. And it was just natural for you. And it's clear to everyone who knows Avery that these special qualities will serve her so well as she grows up. So I know that becoming a bat mitzvah has been a great journey for you, beginning with attending Temple Preschool in South Orange, to attending religious school here at Har Shalom since first grade. Avery's family has made their commitment to the Temple a priority, and the Temple's a valued part of their life. John is a vice president on the executive board, and I won't start to list out all the various committees he chairs or is a part of, because I don't think we can list them all. And Kelly's on the sisterhood board as well as a member of the education committee. So both are very active Temple members and are wonderful role models for all of their children. So Avery, we at the Temple know that you and your family will continue to be active members of our community in the future. I also, just for a second, want to commend Avery on her mitzvah project, which she just spoke about, and I know the students at your aunt's school are going to be thrilled with all their new books and supplies in September. So Avery, I know your family is so proud to watch you up here today, and you did such an incredible job. And as you look out into the sanctuary, you can see the pride and joy clearly in the faces of everyone here with us today. And as I whispered to you before, just take a second and just take it all in because it goes so fast. So as a token of our gratitude and hope for your future, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of Temple Har Shalom, we present you with a few gifts in honor of this occasion. Now, Lynn Ann has covered a couple of them, so I'll just be brief. There's also a Kiddush cup, a teen membership to the Bridgewater JCC, and a book by Rabbi Jeffrey Salkin entitled Text Messages, a Torah Commentary for Teens. And it's good that you love to read. On behalf of the Temple Board and our whole community, I wish you and your family mazel tov on this momentous achievement. We wish you all the best in the future, and I look forward to sharing many more happy occasions with you and your family in the future. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well, I know what Avery wants to do now. She wants to get this party started. So in order to do that, we're just going to conclude our service. We're going to turn to page 586 in our prayer books as we rise together for the Aleinu. Please rise. As you are blessed as you entered this world, so you are blessed now, and God willing, at every happy, joyous Jewish occasion in your life. May God bless you and keep you. Shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God grant you now and through a long life until 120. With spiritual, mental, and physical well-being, as we all say, Amen. would ask that you please remain standing, because even in the midst of our greatest joy, we remember those who are no longer physically present with us, but who are very much alive in our hearts and our memories. On this Shabbat, we commemorate the yortzites of Martin Chelnick, Michelle Friedman, Anita Frisco, Bernice Goodrich, Florence Gomet, Rose Held, Dolores Mandelbaum, Bernard Rausch, Helen Rubin, Audrey Carolyn Shire, and Adolf Weidenfeld. And we remember two who have been taken from our midst in recent days, Bernice Essenfeld and Saul Weinstein. And on this day of Bat Mitzvah, we remember those upon whose shoulders Avery stands this very day. And with love and reverence, we recall her grandmother, Lenny Sandler, her uncle, Adam Sandler, her uncle, John Schulman, and her uncle, Jason Schulman. Together we turn to page 598 to recite the Kaddish prayer. As a community, we remain standing for all those who have no one to remember them. And as Americans and as a Jewish community, we remember all those who have given their lives in defense of our nation and the land of Israel. Together we recite the Kaddish prayer. Yitkada v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayedu kol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimeru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam amei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudusha b'richu, le'olam yimkol birchata v'shirata, tishbachata v'nechamata, damiran b'alma v'yimeru amen. Yehei shlama rabba mim shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. And we pray that the source of peace will send peace to all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us, as we all say, Amen. And you may be seated. Once again, on behalf of all of us here at Temple Har Shalom, our heartfelt best wishes of Mazel Tov go to Avery and you, her family and friends who have come from near and, as she said, very far to help us celebrate today. We hope there'll be many more reasons for you to come back into our midst. And now our service is going to conclude in the following way. On page 626, we're going to join together in Ein Keloheinu, and while we begin singing a very special Kiddush and Motzi prayer are going to be offered by Avery's grandparents, so I'm going to call them forward and point out this beautiful Kiddush cup, which actually has a very special history, bringing the spirit of your Uncle Adam, as it was the cup used at his bar mitzvah. Avery, come on forward with your grandparents, and let's all begin to sing Ein Keloheinu. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemokeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mich Keloheinu, Mich Adonenu, Mich Kemokeinu, Mich Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Imakeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Makeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Makeinu, Atahu Moshienu. And we'll join together in the blessing of a full sweet cup, as together we recite Baruch
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri
Amen. And I'm going to ask your grandmother to pull the cover off the challah so we can all begin to eat and celebrate as together we recite Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And Mazel Tov. Pull it apart. Mazel Tov, everyone. Please wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom.